always brings me back to a quote from John Carpenter's The Thing. Nobody trusts anyone anymore. To imagine the situation that the team at Outpost 31 was in is still absolutely terrifying to me. Your friends, loved ones, pets could all be something hiding behind an imitation. A perfect imitation. Imagine being stalked by something that has the ability to mimic something perfectly, or even just hide behind the flesh of something familiar. It's a horrifying thought. But why? We find this concept of something wearing our skin to invoke a primal fear, a fear that has wormed its way throughout generations, from folklore and word of mouth to more recent media such as online stories and even analog horror videos. Join me tonight as we dive into this cultural phenomenon involving mimics, the Uncanny Valley, and theories on the origins of these beings. In terms of familiarity, there is no other being that fits this mold that is more recognizable than the Skinwalker. A malevolent entity that has carved its way into folklore, the Skinwalker is a Navajo shapeshifter, a spiritual witch or medicine man who has abused their power, gaining the ability to transform into other animals. These beings in turn use this power for malicious purposes, inflicting sickness and even death on their chosen prey. With the advent of social media linking our world together, there's been more and more reported sightings and incidents involving what are described to be skinwalkers, although these could merely be misidentifications of already existing animals. There are some, however, that could either be an elaborate hoax or something more sinister at play. On the topic of the internet, another intriguing being has spawned forth from rumblings and campfire stories around online forums. Goatman, also referred to sometimes as Fleshgate. These entities take things a lurching step forward, being able to mimic people, though their movement and sibilance and their voices are off. Way off. One of the more popular stories involving such a creature, and perhaps the origins of this iteration, is called Ananazi's Goatman story. This story was posted on the X board of 4chan in 2012, a piece involving a group of teenagers who go out camping in the woods of Huntsville, Alabama, only to be stalked by the aforementioned Goatman. While told as merely an online story to shock the reader, there have been reports and accounts across the uncharted wilderness of people running into similar encounters. These beings have also earned the moniker of Goatman, Wendigo, or even Fleshgate. Could its existence be an actual possibility? Many do believe so. But that still leaves massive questions unanswered. What is it? Where do they come from? Why do they exist in our world? Why?
Do they stir a sword?
De mayo del año 2000. Selene Delgado López, de 18 años, se extravió el 22 de abril en la delegación.
Ever feel a chill when something looks like an everyday thing, but it's not quite right? Yeah, that's it. The Uncanny Valley. The Uncanny Valley refers to the discomfort humans feel when encountering entities that closely resemble humans but aren't quite perfect replicas. This phenomenon can be linked to beings like skinwalkers, mimics, and shapeshifters in folklore and mythology, creating a fascinating psychological effect on us. Our brains struggle to reconcile the almost human appearance, initiating a fight or flight response. It's not the obvious monster, but the subtle imperfections, the glitches in the human facade that truly disturb us. These small details betray the monstrous truth hiding beneath. This very effect is a reason why these beings are so terrifying to witness. Also, it could be a reason to believe that they very well reside in our reality. Think of it this way. Humans are wired to detect threats. The Uncanny Valley may represent an adaptive mechanism to avoid potentially dangerous creatures masquerading as humans, such as predators or diseased individuals. But just like everything else we analyze, this primal instinct had to come from somewhere. Are its origins steeped in something from our past? Maybe not only that, but they still walk the same earth that we do. Either way, it still makes for one hell of a story. Name any monster movie and I'll tell you why it isn't as scary as an imitation or a mimic. As I said earlier, I always try to imagine what the crew at Outpost 31 and The Thing were feeling when I watch it. Even if you peel back the layer of alien being from the film, the mere idea of being isolated and possibly surrounded by something imitating familiar faces has to be one of the scariest situations to be in. John Carpenter's classic isn't the only piece that uses this to great effect, however. In recent years, a new trend in horror exploded onto YouTube, blending found footage style aspects with a classic VHS style quality in production. Analog horror found its way into the lives of many fans of the genre. Many of the series in this genre use both this aesthetic and the Uncanny Valley to great effect, but there is one that stood out to me. One that clearly understood the assignment and just how well a mimic could be portrayed. GEMINI Home Entertainment. Created by artist Remy Abode, the brief synopsis of this series deals with a cosmic horror too insidious to fathom, and how now it has its sights set on our planet. Without spoiling too much, one of the terrors that mankind has to contend with in this series are called wood crawlers, beings that infect, infest, and eventually imitate humans. Upon an initial glance, these seem to be perfect imitations. However, these humans bear hallmarks of mimics, from erratic and inhuman movements to even only being able to repeat singular phrases. It's implied that through this, they're able to lure in more unsuspecting prey. Sound familiar yet? While this is not only one of my favorite works in the analog horror community, and a work of fiction as well, this idea will be very important to remember when we close on this topic. While a bit of a ramble, these topics tie into one major idea. These beings have been talked about for quite a long time, and even to this day, their visage lives on in both stories and supposed sightings. Remember, the indigenous people believe them to be spiritual type beings. Other cultures believe them to be forms of otherworldly essence as well. Theories now have even claimed that these figures are alien, perhaps even extra-dimensional. If anything, our primal instinct has taught us to throw our hackles up in the face of something inhuman that poses a threat. But how can one explain how we could tell in times past long ago that something wearing a disguise could be a threat, especially one that blends in almost perfectly? Could it be that they are just us, but warped by malicious powers? beings from another dimension or existence come to this world with unknown ill intent? Or, just like John Carpenter and Remy Abode portrayed, they are beings from the vast expanse of the cosmos, arriving here to satiate curiosity, or worse, hunger. Hey guys, so thank you guys once again for tuning into the channel. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all the ongoing support for, the little viewers that I do have. It does seem that last video did take off, so I'm really hoping that you guys enjoy the content. Just remember to, comment down below what you guys want to see more of, what your guys' thoughts on, the topics are. That would be really helpful for me. And don't forget, if you're new here, leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel, comment, let me know if you guys got any interesting mysteries or topics that you guys want me to cover. Really appreciate it. Remember guys, to have a good night, and also, let's keep getting weird.